Menopausal and perimenopausal women, listen up. It's time to take control of your health and comfort, and Winona is here to help. Winona is a telemedicine company for menopause care who believes that your symptoms are real, important, and deserve to be taken seriously. And for many women, this starts with hormone replacement therapy. Winona's HRT is made with plant-based, bioidentical hormones rather than synthetic ones, so it better aligns with your body to offer relief from hot flashes, weight gain, and other uncomfortable symptoms. 80% of women who use Winona find relief within just 90 days. So, what are you waiting for? Get started today. Visit buywinona.com today to start your free visit. With free shipping and the ability to pause or cancel at any time, your path to wellness has zero obligations. Use code SPRING24 at buywinona.com for 25% off your first treatment plan. That's BYWINONA.com for 25% off. Winona. Menopause care made easy. Summer is the season of hot temperatures, outdoor adventures, and refreshing water activities. Summer is also the season of rough on your feet, causing dry, cracked heels and toes. Introducing Babyfoot, the original exfoliation foot peel that contains 16 natural extracts formulated to remove dead skin cells in 3 easy steps. Apply the booties, relax for an hour, then wash your feet. In 14 days, you've got baby smooth skin and your feet have never been softer. Letting dead skin cells build up over time is hazardous to your foot health. Our professional-grade DIY products, like our original exfoliation foot peel, our men's foot peel, or our moisturizing mask, are some of the best foot care products on the market, created with your foot health in mind. Pamper yourself with a spa day from the comfort and convenience of your own home with Babyfoot. If you want a chemical-free, easy-to-use exfoliating process from the company that created the original foot peel, it's time to treat yourself to Babyfoot. Go to babyfoot.com and use the code SUMMERFEET24 and get 20% off your first order with Babyfoot. That's babyfoot.com and use the code SUMMERFEET24.
Hello and welcome to Too Stupid to Live, a podcast that reviews romance novels $5 and under. I'm your host, Becky Feldman, and I am so excited about today's episode. We are reviewing a book that I am still thinking about, and oddly enough, both characters in this romance novel are human. Unlike every other romance novel that I think about all the time, there are no humanoid monsters with crazy anatomy that I dream about marrying every night. Today, we are reviewing the contemporary romance A Girl Like Her by Talia Hibbert. It is $3.99, and it is book 1 in the Ravenswood series. So before I get to today's guest, I want to talk about an exciting event I'm participating in with a romance podcaster that I'm sure you all know and love, Kelly Reynolds, host of Boobies and Newbies. Kelly is going to be a special guest at the live recording of the podcast My Worst Date here in Los Angeles and on streaming Friday, October 28th at 7:30. And she's going to be doing an episode of Boobies and Newbies to open the show, and yours truly, i.e. me, is going to be the guest. So I am the guest of the guest. And listen, in my life, in my social experience, I have been the guest of a guest before, like at, parties or like rehearsal dinners or whatever. But this time I actually got invited and it feels so special. I love My Worst Date and I love Kelly and I am so excited to be participating. You can find more information at tstlpodcast.com. So my guest today, is Tori from the Ready to Be Petty podcast, which dives into the ins and outs of pop culture, celebrity scandals, and the juiciest reality TV and more. Here's the thing though, you would think that a host of a podcast called Ready to Be Petty would be petty, but I found her to be delightful. So please enjoy this review of A Girl Like Her. Tori, you're going from petty to being stupid. Welcome to the Too Stupid to Live podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Today flew by, and are you on the West Coast?
I am, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I usually record with a lot of East Coast people. I'm also on the West Coast, so usually I'm like recording in the, early evening. And tonight it's an after dark episode.
Yeah, it's an after dark special. I love it.
Yes, yes.
So you are the host of the Ready to Be Petty podcast. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, usually I'm talking about pop culture, reality TV, and celebrity gossip. But and I've been doing that for about 4 years. But in my spare time, I love to read romance. So through my podcast, I've connected with other romance novel podcasters and been on like a handful of romance novel podcasts. So it's been, yeah, a new fascination of mine. And it's nice to talk about it with someone. I feel like romance is the type of genre that you want to talk about it with.
Agreed. Yeah. I feel like that's why like podcasts are so popular. And then like I feel like if you see a stranger and you both like and you find out you read romances, you've made a new best friend. Like it's not just like,
Absolutely.
oh, I'm into that too. Bye. It's like you'll talk for 3 hours.
Totally, 100%. And it's such a big genre that I don't know, but you can always just find something that you like both read or whatever and yeah, connect over that. But some of it is so silly. Obviously, that's what you cover a lot of like
Right.
the like almost horrific parts of romance novels, but like yeah, like some of it's so fun and funny and creative and thoughtful that yeah, it's just fun to talk about.
Absolutely. Yeah. So back to like celebrity gossip and stuff. What are you into right now? Like what are the shows? What's
Mm,
the big I mean, we are recording the day after the Emmys. I don't know if the
yeah.
Emmy Awards are hot juicy topics or not. I sound like I cannot believe how I sounded just now. I hated myself just now.
No, but like literally, I feel like a lot of pop culture like commentary is very like millennial, very of the like I love Heather McDonald's like juicy scoop and like sometimes like the View and stuff like the OGs just do it best. So
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, I feel that. Sometimes I feel like archaic talking about pop culture nowadays because a lot of it, yeah, skews towards like Gen Z.
Hmm.
But yeah, what am I watching? I'm watching Below Deck. It's a
Hmm.
Bravo TV show. Do you watch
I
it?
don't watch it. I am a Real Housewives person, and
Oh, love that.
for some reason, I, I, it's rare that I'll watch any reality TV show with people who are young and hot.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I get that. I so get that. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of the times I am almost watching it to make myself feel better.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
but I've been really into Below Deck, specifically the sailing yacht version.
Hmm.
It's been really good. And then what else have I been watching? Oh, High School Musical, the musical. The
Oh, is that
series.
good? I like see
No.
it pop up. Okay.
Yeah.
I will not watch it
No.
then.
No, it's just like it has that nostalgic factor
Hmm.
that just I can't get enough of.
Yeah.
Um yeah, that's kind of I don't know what I've been following. I've been following a lot of the Don't Worry, Darling drama.
I've been following that for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why it's fascinating me so much.
I know. I think sometimes just almost the you know like the audience response to these stories are more interesting than like what actually happened.
I
So
completely agree. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm kind of honestly more interested in like, yeah, talking about why we're so interested in it and why we've watched it so closely compared to like when this stuff happens all the time on sets and stuff. So
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
yeah. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like going on Twitter and seeing everyone's like takes on it is just really fun and funny. And I'm like, why do I care so much about this? Like, it's, I was like, over the weekend or like that weekend when the festival was happening, I was like, glued it was like I was glued to my like Twitter account, being on Twitter,
Mhm.
reading all these
Mhm.
tweets, probably to the equivalent of when there's an election and like the
Yes.
equivalent of when Joe Biden won. I was like, let me check Twitter and
Literally. literally, I think I said in my last episode that I was watching it like I was watching the January 6th insurrection.
Yes.
It's so bad. But for some reason I was. And like, I don't even really, like, I follow the kind of major players in this situation, but like, I'm not obsessed with Harry or Florence or Olivia or Shia LaBeouf. But for some reason, it just grabbed the world's attention.
Yeah, I think it was just, I wonder if it was like our state of mind, like our collective like state of mind that weekend. Maybe there wasn't a lot going on. We were all bored and we're just like, okay, here we go, folks. The biggest conspiracy of 2022.
Honestly, and then coupled with the Lea Michele like funny girl stuff, like it was really a good weekend. Like,
yeah. And, you know, part of me is like, it was a good weekend because I actually knew who everyone was. And I feel like
yeah, totally.
We're very exciting.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, sometimes I'm like that too, that I like specifically follow a certain podcast that just covers like TikTokers, influencers, and YouTubers.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in the know, but like, yeah, I'm definitely on the cusp of like kind of the classic celebrity to like, you know, like very like when Disney Channel was like a peak with like Demi and Selena and Miley and stuff. That's like my niche, I would say.
Totally. Like I was at the tail end of that. Like I feel like Demi and Miley and like Selena Gomez, like even though I'm sure they're in like their mid-20s now, but they're like forever in my brain, like, oh, the 13-year-old who stars in her own sitcom, you know.
I know. 100%. I know. I feel the exact same way. Yeah.
So talk to me about your romance reading journey. Like what got you into reading romance? What kind of subgenres do you like?
Oh, that's a great question. So okay, so I was a big reader when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. Like the classic stuff, Twilight, like Hunger Games, like all of that. I don't know why I'm embarrassed by that. We're talking about romance. This is about breaking down the stigma of reading romance. But like sometimes it's like a little embarrassing.
I mean, you don't have to be embarrassed in front of me. I devoured all of those books, and I wasn't even young. I was like in my early 20s. So
yes, you know. Oh my god, I am like the queen of watching or consuming content that is not like High School Musical, the series. Like that's not made for me,
right?
But,
yeah.
But I am devouring it as well. So yeah, I was a big reader, and then big young adult reader. That's why I'm like so happy that all of the Jenny Han stuff is being made into movies. Like that was just everything I loved. And then when I went to college, I really stopped reading. I was reading academic stuff. So I think that this is a pretty, you know, classic story, but like I basically stopped reading for pleasure and was just reading for school. And then, you know, I'd read the occasional book in my 20s, but didn't really pick it up because I felt like I was going back to young adult books. And then I'm like, oh, I'm really can't engage with these characters and stuff. And then my mom would suggest stuff and, you know, kind of like Reese Witherspoon, Oprah Winfrey book club stuff. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, this is like not what I'm looking for either. I'm really looking for escapism. And yeah, especially my job was really stressful and the world is really stressful. So I'm like, I don't want to read anything too heavy. And then actually Kelly from Boobies and Newbies podcast just messaged me and was like, do you want to come on my pod? This is the book you would have to read. I was like, sure, I'll give it a go. It was like free on my like Kobo. This was 2.5 years ago. And I've probably read like 200 books, 250 books since then, all romance. So it really, like opened my eyes. I feel like it's the perfect between young adult and, I don't know, other genre books. Like,
yeah, like I feel like with young adult, like, you know, there are like so many of our favorite young adults like Hunger Games and Twilight, they are fantastical, you know, they are escapist. And so what genre is the closest? Oh, romance. I mean, there, you know,
Yeah.
there's sci-fi and other things, but I definitely, so many people I think who were read YA, you know, and maybe still do, gravitated towards romance. It's sometimes like I'm like, oh, I mean, I know it's not interchangeable, but like whenever I meet someone who's like, oh, I read YA, you know, and I'm just like, just suddenly we'll talk about romance because it is like a lot of the same readership.
100%. And like when I think of those books, I'm like, what did I like about them? Like it was Edward and Bella, Katniss and Peeta. Like it was the relationship part. So
Yeah.
so I definitely feel like it is like an easy bridge to make.
Mm-hmm.
And then subgenres, I'm like really all over the place. Like I will try anything. I kind of went down like a dark romance slash like bully romance turn this summer, and I really want to get out of it. Like I just like,
Yeah.
but like now all of the suggestions I get just like happen to fall kind of in that category. So I'm really like hoping to make a quick pivot out of that. But I will literally try anything. When I hate men, I go paranormal. When I want something like kind of more realistic, I'll go like college campus romance. I love like a billionaire. I'll be like, oh, I'm so broke. I just want to read a billionaire romance, like that type of stuff. But yeah, I really try anything. That's when you messaged me and you're like, well, what book should we pick? And I'm like, literally anything.
I loved it. Yeah. I mean, because I'm always like, okay, like, because I always wanted to read a Talia Hibbert book. And like, I mean, I must have read one of their books and I don't know. I like it all, when you just like have so many books, I'm sure like it all jumbles together and like I don't remember titles and authors. I'm like, yeah, I just remember the sex scenes. And so
yeah, literally.
So I like found this book and I'm like, okay, she said anything. This book I feel like is like literally the opposite. Well, okay, I've never read a bully romance. I am very scared to read a bully romance. This book seems like the opposite. Or
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yes. Like literally the complete opposite of what I've been reading, which was a breath of fresh air. Let me tell you that. I don't know, the bully romance, like it's so problematic. I feel like sometimes a lot of I'm like, if you look at my Goodreads, you're not gonna think I'm a feminist, like at all.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Like, but it's interesting how much I read stuff that like doesn't necessarily align with like my values or like what I would want in real life. I don't know. There needs to be a study done on that, but yeah, this was the exact opposite of a bully romance.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing is that I think there's a lot of like, what you read and what you consume and what you like definitely doesn't like, I think there's a lot of people who are like, oh, I do this, I do that. But then I have this like side thing where I'm into this, I'm into that. Doesn't mean I'm not a feminist. Like, doesn't mean everyone has that thing,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to contribute to this, but like, I also cannot put this book down. So
exactly. Yeah. I mean, I was actually just thinking about it, like I was watching on Netflix. There's that show called Do You Want to Build a Sex Room or something?
Oh yeah, I was thinking about watching that.
Yeah, I literally just started it today, and of course, it got me thinking about 50 Shades, and then it got me thinking about like kind of this like, there are people who say that it's problematic. There are people who say, oh, it's empowering, and I was thinking about like, just since it came out, like things that I've read of like how this is gonna like mess with like, a young woman's perspective of blah blah blah. And then I was like, well, like no one's saying that like watching wrestling is going to encourage everyone to hit each other with chairs. You know what I mean? Like how like it's a fantasy. It's such a sexist criticism,
100%. Yeah. And like I think it all comes down to like media literacy and like the way that it's made. Like if it's an author writing something, it's definitely different than like porn where there's like people involved, etc. But yeah, like media literacy, if you know that that's not real, or that you don't want that in your life, or like whatever that looks like, I think that makes sense. But like I think of like romance novels, like it's like so many of them are like hairless women with like tiny vaginas and like all of like big boobs and like stuff like that. And it's like, okay, tired of this. But like I know in my real life that that's not the case.
Right.
That
Yeah.
vaginas all look different, and your body can look different too, and like yes. So like all of those things, I'm like, if you're literate, like if you have media literacy, like it's fine. It's when you like, I feel like, yeah, start to like internalize those things that it's difficult. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not like, all of us are entirely immune to, what's being shown and what we're reading, what we're seeing. But like, I do think, pointing out one specific genre over the other, as
Yes.
like, something that is maybe contributing to something. I'm like, well, let's think about you. I want to think about your reasoning behind this. Like, why are you choosing this genre, not that genre then?
100%.
Yeah. Well, I think we should get into this book because, as you said, I'm so glad that it helped you pivot out of this.
Yeah, this dark hole that I'm in.
Yeah, I'm glad it got you out of this dark hole. I also wanted to say I'm glad Kelly got you into reading romance. So, Kelly, if you're listening, you made this newbie a boobie.
Yeah, 100%. I did a live with her like this spring, so it was like 2 years later. I was like, I hope you know you like created a monster.
Oh my god, she should be so proud. Like she did what every romance reader, writer, podcaster, anyone is like wants to do. So
truly, I know.
The Oscar.
Yeah, 100%.
So the book that we are reviewing today is called A Girl Like Her by Talia Hibbert, which is currently $3.99. So here's a quick synopsis. The quirky and adorably nerdy Ruth thinks she's come to terms with being the town outcast, but is she truly living her life to the fullest? Her muscled and tatted new neighbor, Evan, knows the answer, but he's not going to push her. But he is going to satisfy her. At first, it's with his baking skills in the kitchen. But when Ruth is ready to take it to the bedroom, Evan shows her just how well he can really heat things up.
So good.
So good. So, like, coming into this book, you are like, what did you expect this book was going to be about? Like, because I thought small town romance, and for some reason, I also thought it was like, whenever I think small town romance, I think, okay, it's a New England island. I don't know why I always think that.
Why is it always in New England? Like,
I know. This isn't, though. And I was like, oh, whoa, they're British.
I know. As soon as they were like a cuppa, I was like, oh, we're in England somewhere. Yeah. I think going in, I feel like Talia is having a kind of moment. Like I was at the bookstore a few weeks ago and she was all over, like some of her newer books were all over the like must read shelves.
Cool.
Yeah. So I was like stoked. I was like, okay, cool. My first Talia Hibbert book. And then the cover, I was like, okay, mixed race couple. Mm-hmm. So that was the first thing I thought about. And then, yeah, it gives very much small town vibes. So,
yeah.
So, and then the first thing is like a content warning. So you do get like kind of a clue of what's going on or why Ruth is the way that she is, as the synopsis kind of alludes to. Mm-hmm. But yeah, those are my first thoughts.
Yeah, same. So we meet Ruth and she is just, I loved her as a character. Mm-hmm. She is a comic book writer and illustrator, and she just lives in her apartment and is in her pajamas all day. Which sounds like all of us.
Yes, literally. I was like, vibes. Yeah, she was really fun and like unapologetic. And this was a unique storyline. Like at least the characters were kind of, yeah, like not your average romance characters. Like they had unique quirks and backstories. So I liked that part.
Yeah, it felt like in a way there was a role reversal here where like I feel like sometimes like male characters are given more leeway to really have their lives be in a whole, you know what I mean? To
Yes.
really, isolate themselves and not have things in a good place. And it's I for me in the books that I've read, it's rare that you see a female character, kind of taking on that role of like just isolating yourself and kind of being okay with it and like making reasons why.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're totally right. Like I haven't read many novels that um where this is kind of like their lifestyle, but it's realistic. Like again, like I mentioned, like when I'm reading like a bully romance novel, usually there's like one character that's like in peril and like they um have things going on, but it's because my dad lost our multi-million like dollar vineyard and
Yeah.
like now I have to marry this guy or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But this was like realistic. Like she came out of a abusive relationship or like was actually kind of currently in it.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
then this was like a realistic response to like what happened. And there yeah, like we talked about how there's so many like sometimes fantasy elements in romance. This was just like straight up real life.
Yes, it was. It definitely was. And even like with their, she meets Evan who lives next door. Even with like their dialogue, the way they talk to each other, the way she talks to other people, there was a level of groundedness that I again was like very refreshing.
Yeah, exactly. Like the dialogue was super realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think also it was really like sometimes one word sentences, like how we would talk in real life
Yeah.
instead of like yeah, really long sentences that sometimes happen in romance novels.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would make a really good movie because of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I thought it was also another thing about Ruth was that she's neurodiverse, and I thought that was like again, like we were just talking about, oh, she's in a hole, but at the same time, she is thriving. She is,
Yeah.
whatever. And but like, and I thought it was. I mean, I had just watched again. I'm like talking about Netflix. I had just watched Love on the Spectrum. I watched a few episodes of it, and I don't know how I feel about the show, but I felt like, okay, here's a really good portrayal, of like, yeah, people are on the spectrum and we're human beings, like they're fine.
Yeah, 100%. I actually was like checking some of my biases during this book, like because Ruth is like really straightforward with Evan in the like latter half of the book, and I was like, oh, this was kind of like a I was like, I didn't expect this from Ruth. And I was like, why didn't I expect that from like a neurodiverse person? Like they can have super fulfilling, super hot romance, sex, all of that. So yeah, I was definitely like checking, some of those biases and like stereotypes that we have about neurodivergency.
Oh yeah, same here, absolutely. And it was just like, yeah, again, like just seeing her like thrive and enjoy sex, like yeah, totally.
Yeah.
um I really like, so Ruth is another thing about Ruth is that she has been ostracized from the entire small town of Ravenswood because she was, well, basically the main thing is that everyone thinks she's a whore. She was seeing like the richest boy in the town. He was terrible. um Shit happened. I.e. her sister, after she found out that like he was terrible, she trashed his car. And then from there, that family, they were just the pariahs of the town. And Ruth is labeled a Jezebel, even though she's not. But she kind of labels herself as a Jezebel.
Yeah, that was interesting. So that was like the kind of, I guess, like some of the plot twists part of the book. Like, so Evan meets Ruth and she's like, I'm the town Jezebel. And then they're like talking and he's like, but you like don't leave your house. And
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, you're like very shy and like all of this stuff. He's like, are you sure that like you're the town Jezebel? And then you find out that since like high school, she's been connected with, yeah, like the son of the like the man that runs the small town,
Right. Yeah, the richest.
And richest like business owner, influential man, and you think that she destroyed his car, and you find out that it was Hannah, but it's really interesting because I was like, I don't understand, like why is she describing herself as that? And then she talks about like after I kind of like ended this relationship with Daniel, I did go out and sleep with a bunch of people because that's like what I thought would, heal me. And again, super relatable content. And yeah, it's also just really nice. I feel like that when like this book, it was like, and it is part of the charm is that like the male main character is like, such a sweetheart teddy bear kind of character, but like, received all of that, like no judgment, and was like, oh yeah, that's super normal. And like, and then just like moved on.
Totally. Yeah. And that kind of got me back to the role reversal thing because it was like, okay, if it were switched and like the guy had the same reputation that, Ruth had, and the woman was non-judgmental, like it would kind of be like, well, yeah, that's normal, and so like, oh yeah, it was interesting to kind of, I don't know, just see that reversal, and
yeah, totally. And like I feel like a lot of times, usually maybe because it's women writing women as the main characters, this was like dual perspective, but like it was nice to just have like an uncomplicated male character. Like,
I did like him as a character.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so did I, because well, you see him also interacting with like his colleagues and stuff, so you can see, his behavior outside of just interacting with Ruth, and like that's what I kind of liked best almost.
Oh my god, same here. Because like I even wrote down like, oh, he has such a there's a healthy portrayal of male friendship, and eventually when Ruth kind of finds the courage to kind of get back out in society, she reignites these healthy relationships with her sister and her friends, but especially with like Evan and Zach. He granted, like I think like maybe Evan was helping out because he was like he's helping out Zach because his mom was diagnosed with cancer, and Evan lost his mom to cancer, so he kind of feels like a level of compulsion to like make them food and come over and just like be really worried about it, and so, but regardless, it wasn't this like compulsive behavior. Like he did establish like a very, very healthy relationship with Zach, and I loved it.
Yeah, it's nice to see male friendships portrayed that way. And Kay, I didn't look ahead because I didn't want to like spoil myself, but is the next book in the Ravenswood series, is it with Hannah and Zach?
No, I read the next chapter. It's with Hannah, but you know how they mentioned that like Zach has an older brother with 2 kids who's coming to visit?
Yeah, like randomly.
Yeah, it's with Hannah. It's with Hannah and the random brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Love that. That's another thing that I love about romance that you don't see often in other genres is the like multiverses.
Yeah. It really is like, it's nice to like it's almost like a nice to like check in. I'm like, oh, okay, good. I'm glad they're doing well. Anyway, back to the story that I'm reading this book for.
Totally. Yeah, it's nice that, because how many times have you finished a book and you're like, oh, I want to check in with these people down the road, and most of the time you can't. So yeah.
Yeah. Even if it was just like one sentence, or it was like they were thinking about someone else, of like, yeah, like Derek, he was a good dude. I'm so glad he's with like whatever. And it's like, good. I'm glad we've checked it.
Yeah. Or it's like the characters go for coffee, and now there's a kid, and and then we move on.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's almost like an Easter egg. I guess it is an Easter egg. I don't know what Easter eggs are, but you know how people.
Yeah, not an Easter egg, but kind of.
Like, yeah. It's a romance Easter egg.
Yeah.
So Evan, you know, he's a great book boyfriend. He's a great boyfriend. He, you know, meets Ruth and kind of there's, you know, an attraction. And he sees that like, oh, she's very isolated, but very, you know, fun and smart and cute. And he is like, notices that she doesn't have a kitchen, and he decides to make dinners for her. She ended up getting rid of her kitchen because she accidentally started a fire, or just like her stove. I mean, she has a kitchen, like she has a refrigerator and stuff.
Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, so some of her traits are clumsiness that we see throughout the book. I was just thinking that's really tough to live like that. But,
yeah.
But I get it. I'm also scared of fires. So if I like had a big fire, I would probably do the same.
Oh yeah. Like if I absolutely, like I lived in a bachelor apartment for a while where there's like a microwave and a refrigerator, and you get like a hot pan or hot plate or something. And it's like, okay, yeah, it is doable. But like, I completely understand, like, you know, having something happen that, you know, could have really hurt people and killed you and killed that. Like, absolutely, I would like be like, get this out. I can't trust myself near this.
Yeah. And hers is like extreme clumsiness, like more than you would picture in your life. So I understand that.
Yeah. But luckily, Evan's a pretty good cook. He makes a lot of like casseroles and lasagnas.
Yeah, I was like, this is like, I feel like British cuisine, like just very carb heavy, like
It's all comfort food. It was all comfort
food, yeah, for like the cold weather, whatever. It was just very comforting. Yeah, it was kind of, but like that also kind of added to the like ambiance of the small town. Yeah, eating a plate of bolognese. Like,
yeah. It's always like, well, I made a lot extra.
Yeah.
That's what you do in a small town. You give it to your neighbors, you know.
100%. Yeah. And what a good meat cute.
Oh, so cute. With meat in it. I feel
Totally.
Okay, so what like is your favorite, like what would be your ideal meal for Evan to bring over that he would make? Like, what's your favorite, like, not like, I guess it could be a casserole based dish, but like what, like Evan comes over with your favorite meal, what is it?
I know, I was like, what could that be? For some reason I was like, I feel like you would make like a good tomato soup and grilled cheese.
Yes, I was thinking mac and cheese, which is kind of the same.
Yeah, I just feel like, yeah, he's like a soup and sandwich kind of guy. And it seems like all of the things he was making, it was like, these are the skills you need. And I'll just make every iteration of that meal.
Yes. Yeah.
It was cute. It was super cute.
It was very cute. So they end up getting closer, and he's, at first, like, Ruth is like very, I mean, understandably hesitant to kind of be open with Evan about like her past and what happened with Daniel.
Yeah. So Evan doesn't know. So Evan and Ruth bump into Daniel in public the first time that they meet, and Daniel says like a really rude comment to Ruth. So Evan kind of knows that there's some type of
like history
between them. And I think he just kind of assumes like small town, they went to high school together, they didn't get along or whatever that was. So he kind of drops it. And then he does find out later. He puts all the clues together and finds out that it's him, because of Daniel's insistence that he doesn't hang out with her. But yeah, it makes sense of why she would be nervous, not only to expand her like friendships, because it seems like she's not burnt bridges, but lost touch with or purposely isolated herself from her friends and her mom and her sister. But yeah, it makes sense that she is like, what are the intentions of Evan? Like, he's super hot, he has tattoos, he's like super muscly, like what could he possibly like want to do, like hanging out with me?
Totally. She even has like a line in it, or I mean, like where she thinks herself, she's like, there must be something wrong with him. Like, what is wrong with him to be into me? Like, not once does she, like, not that this is anything, but like she does point out she's only been in her pajamas in front of him. Like, she's always like kind of, I feel like, a lot of us when we go out, we feel the need to like put on our best clothes and put on makeup and blah blah blah, and she's just like, I can't. And yet he still likes me. What is wrong with this picture? Even though it's like, what is right with this picture?
Totally. It was so relatable of like, her like inner critic of like, I don't deserve someone like Evan hanging out with me. I feel like everyone's, had that thought. And then, yeah, like the pajamas thing it's so funny. It's not the type of pajamas you usually see in romance novels.
No, it's not like silky. It's like Captain America.
Fun. Yeah. Like flannel pajamas. But I'm like, that's the best way to build a relationship, is when you are your like most authentic self, or your most neurotic self, or your because that is the real you. And then when they see you when you're at your best in your dress or whatever, out and about, like that's like the bonus. But the everyday is like how you really want to like build, like that's the foundational part. So
absolutely. Like, and that was the romance in this, like it wasn't the billionaire taking her to a ball, or like, it wasn't, this like grandiose thing. Like the romance was like, hey, you're still in your pajamas. Like, here's the casserole.
Yeah.
Like, I want him as my boyfriend.
Yeah, totally. And like, he had a really good sense of humor too. Like when they do go out and she puts on like clothes that you would wear outside. He was like, she's like, what? And he's like, this is the most like, elbow and like ankle I've seen of you on you. And he was like, I've seen like copious amounts of forearm or something. And I was like, this is so funny and so cute.
Yeah. And like there was also a line in it that made me laugh. Like Ruth has like very much like is very self-aware, and so when she's like realizing like, oh, she's into Evan, she's like, well, maybe next time I'll wear a nicer pair of pajamas. Like, this is hilarious. I love her so much.
Yes, like when her friend, I can't remember her name.
I can't either.
Because she was just in like one or two brief scenes.
Yeah.
She's probably Ravenswood 3.
Like, yeah. Yeah.
But she was like, okay, you're not like down to chat online. And then she comes over and she's like, you're wearing like you've done your hair and you're wearing like the tiniest bit of lip balm. And she's like, this is like earth shattering. So it was really funny.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, I totally understand where Ruth's coming from. Cause like, I think for me, I tend to isolate, or like I have done that. And it was very relatable, and she's just doing the best she can.
Oh, it was all super relatable. Like I really get that. Like like I totally get the self-isolation. And sometimes you like, I feel like with her, sometimes you do it for so long that you don't realize that it's like I don't want to say abnormal, but like
It
maybe
becomes
not your
comfortable.
yeah, you get comfortable in kind of her routine. Like she was like, "Well, I go out Sundays. Why would I go out any other day?" Or like things like that where and then Evan's like, "Well, you know, people usually go out on Fridays and stuff." Like sometimes you just are like that for so long that you kind of forget the other way.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it's so funny. She like later has this realization, she is, closing herself off. And then she has like a very funny realization. And she's like, oh, like things are a lot easier when you just like say what's on your mind and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
say whatever. And today I was like I was trying to find out like someone's last name for this thing I was working on. And I was like Googling and researching and on Facebook, couldn't find it. And then I was like, oh, I should just email them. Isn't that
Yeah,
funny?
yeah. 100%. So many times you can like overcomplicate things. And I've also noticed like I work remotely like for like the past like 2.5 years. And so sometimes I feel like Ruth kind of like a shut in.
Yeah.
And you do quickly forget to like, oh, I could just ask my colleague this. Or like it's so much easier to just like that's what I would have done if I was in the office, just walk down the hall and yeah, you just get into a certain type of routine and then you forget.
your brain develops these habits and like all of a sudden they're like it's like breathing and you're like, oh wow.
Yeah, yeah. Totally.
Ruth is very self-aware of her situation and she almost like makes fun of herself,
Yeah, that was it was kind of refreshing of how she wasn't there was certain parts that she was down about herself, but like she wasn't necessarily like embarrassed of
Right.
like I feel like a lot of things around like mental health and like like is the shame around like wearing pajamas. Like I only have the capacity to wear pajamas and to not wear makeup and to not go out, and I feel like there's can be so much shame in that, and she didn't necessarily have that. Like she definitely had in the romance department, like I think very not I don't want to say standard, but like very common universal thoughts about like is my partner like better than me, or will they change their mind about me, or I don't deserve a partner like this, or they couldn't look at me this way possibly, or whatever. But yeah, she doesn't seem like she had some kind of self-deprecating humor and stuff, and yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, it was nice. I agree. What did you think about like her relationship with her sister Hannah? Because like at first, it was like, oh God, is Hannah like I mean this in a good like, oh, what a good universe way. Like, oh God, is Hannah the one who's like gonna be constantly on her ass to like get dressed, do this, do that?
Yeah.
And then there's this reveal that Hannah is very flawed and has anger issues. And like, I fucking loved that reveal. Again, the side characters are so great.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, she was really interesting to me because I was at first curious of why they didn't have a good relationship per se, because it seemed like obviously they were like close in the past, so I was like confused, and then we find out it's because she knew what was happening and Ruth used to tell her more stuff, and then like she did like the car incident happened, so she smashes the like windshield of Daniel's car and then gets arrested, and then like Ruth feels so bad and that she got in like trouble that that will last or stay with you for a long time.
Yeah.
So she felt, I don't know, maybe like not a burden, but just kind of like she put her sister in like a situation where she got in trouble.
Yeah. And she like kind of, made it seem like if like someone in the town said, oh, actually, Ruth, you were the one who beat that, who like broke the car or whatever, she would just say, yes, it was me. Like she would never like correct them or anything. And I think because she wanted to like take the take the heat a little bit, or, you know, to really take the heat there. Because her
Yeah.
sister really did fuck up her life. Like, I feel like she always wanted to be a teacher or, you know, work with kids. And because of this criminal record, she can't do that anymore. I imagine in the second book when she meets Zach's brother with kids, it's not going to work out.
Yeah.
But that's like, it was such a wonderful reveal because you think this one character is going to be perfect, 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 great job, great skin, great hair, blah 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 blah, and then it's like, oh, you're kind of in an even worse place in a way. Like, you're not living your dream.
100%. Like, that is, I feel like, also kind of stereotypical of romance, like the black sheep of the family, and then the perfect child that yeah, like the older sister that's perfect or whatever, and that they're always striving to like look up to and or become. And yeah, they were equally complicated lives.
Yeah. It definitely like just added so much to this world and their family, and like, and it kind of like, it was like, I am so interested in this family. I don't care about any of the hot guys. Like, I mean, I do care, but like, just give them all hot guys, but I want to see them resolve their issues. You know what I mean?
Totally. That was another thing I really liked about this book, is that it was interesting backstory. Sometimes, a lot of times in romance, I'm like, okay, let's get to the sex. Like, this backstory is like not interesting at all. And this one, I was actually like just as interested as the romance parts.
Totally. Because I thought this book was, and we'll get to this, we got to talk about sex, but like, I did think like a lot of this book was like, there's this theme of healing in it, you know, like she was like healing from the wounds of your past. And for some reason, like, that plot line, as much as I loved the romance, because I love romance, but like that plot line like really like just stood out to me and affected me maybe even more in a book like this than maybe the romance, because I knew they were gonna be together. You know?
Like, that wasn't a question. That was like another thing, is it wasn't a question that they weren't going to be together. They didn't, there wasn't like a point where like they had some arguments and stuff, but there wasn't like that big thing that hinged on them being together. Which was interesting. But yeah, it is like feel good in that sense that like even after a shitty relationship, like you can find a super healthy relationship. And yeah, that's just nice to see.
Yeah. And just like seeing how it can, like, you know, having that healthy, like, you know, some like healthy aspect of your life and seeing it like kind of bleed into other aspects. Like, I thought like a really brave, triumphant moment for her character and her journey was going back to the library and signing up to be a volunteer again, which she had done and missed it and didn't do it anymore because she was isolating herself. But like coming back, like, to me, that was like braver than like climbing up a mountain of fire, you know?
Yeah, totally. And you're right. Like, that stuff does bleed into your other relationships. And like, it, I think, kind of forced her to make amends with Hannah. And you're right. Like, she went out that Friday night. She signed up for her volunteering. Like, that is what you want.
A friend. Yeah.
Like she, like, it, that's what you want a relationship to be, is to pushing you to, you know, your best self and stuff. So
exactly. Yeah.
And pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. So yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we got to pivot to these sex scenes. I feel like for me, there were two like fun headline sex scenes that stood out that I liked. One where they're almost having sex and she falls into a sink. And then two,
that was really
they
funny.
have an orgasm contest in the shower.
Oh yeah, okay. I had like never read anything like that. I'm like, this is so fun.
Me neither. And I was like, that's why I was like, oh, this is a headline. Well, both of them are headlines, but I was like, okay, falling into the sink is so funny.
Yeah, that was so funny. So that was like the second time I think that they had kissed, because he had like kissed her neck and she like froze.
Yeah.
And then the second time, I believe, he picks her up, puts her on the sink while she's washing the dishes. Then the doorbell rings and she's, you know, on that
Yeah.
little ledge
Yeah.
before the sink, and like she's in her pajama pants that are cotton. So,
Yeah.
like,
And there's like dishes, I'm assuming, you know.
Yeah.
She falls in.
Yeah. It was
So
just
good.
a funny visual.
Yeah. And then, so then, you know, like they put their guards down, they're having sex. What did you think about like the heat and the sex in general in this book?
Well, definitely. So I noted that I think you wait till like chapter 22
Yeah.
out of like 34 or something like that to get to the, and then it's like pretty regularly throughout the latter half. But to me, like, I don't know what actually the definition of slow burn is, but like that,
Yeah.
yeah, but like that seems to me like a slow burn when it's in like the last third of the book.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you definitely wait a while before they hook up. In terms of like the heat, I was super surprised at how good the sex scenes were written.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't think that they were going to be written well, but it's such a tonal shift from like super sweet casserole, I bought you a comic book type of relationship. So it was just such a tonal shift that I think, surprised.
Yeah, it was. Like it was like, you know, she had a sexy feisty side and he has a sexy feisty side, and it was just like very like there was one moment where like they were just like in the car and she's like, you want to fuck? And like and it was like, again, like they're just like, well, that's what they're gonna do. And yeah, I get, like, you know, there was just like this like raunchiness, if that's the right term.
Yes. Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Totally. And again, so realistic, because I feel like I've said this 1,000 times, but in other romance novels that I've read, it's like the couple is like sexy all the time.
Yeah.
Or like their whole relationship is like banter around sex. And this was really normal and relatable, because you are going to have those sweet, tender moments with a partner and those sexy, raunchy, erotic moments. Like that's real life. So
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like I feel like there's a lot of times where when I read a romance, I'm like, oh, more sex. I wish there were more sex. But in this book, I'm like, oh, I wish I was like there for one night when he comes over for dinner and they're talking about comic books. Like I wish there was like a scene like that, even though like we know there's some there, but like, you know, they do, even though this is a slow burn, they do form a connection pretty quickly. And I 100% believed it, because he was at her house every night and they were like connecting and eating dinner and talking comics. And it's like, I want to see what that's like. I'm just totally for that.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And that was like a lot was like off page. Like it would go to the next chapter. So we didn't get to see tons of their like in-depth like conversations, which I felt kept the book moving like at a really good pace.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. Like their conversations, like, yeah, you want to be a fly on the wall for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's what I also loved about it. It was paced real well. I was able to read it in a day, which I never do. So in the end, you know, I guess Daniel gets his comeuppance. First, it's like through Daniel's dad, where like, you know, first of all, Daniel's a stalker and like he should be in jail. Like he should be in jail. Like, right? Like that guy, he's terrible.
100%. Like once you start to hear the extent of Daniel's behavior, like this isn't like a scorned ex. This is
obsession.
Yes, obsession and like very like textbook criminal stuff.
Yeah,
like
psychopath. Yeah.
Psychopath stuff, 100%. And yeah, you see kind of her thoughts in like that were italicized like throughout the book. And then you get the like reveal with like the flowers and stuff. But dark elements that, yeah, of the book that like
It was
kind of
concerning.
underscore it. Yeah.
Like it was like it was to the point where it's like, does no one else in the town see this? Like, why is the town taking Daniel's side? He's clearly a psychopath. Like,
yeah.
I mean, obviously you never know what's behind closed doors with people, and maybe he presents himself in the town like as a better person. But it's astounding because eventually, you know, his dad, who's the king of the town or whatever, like comes to her and she tells him the truth and like about how Daniel really is, and kind of gets the dad on her side, and then she's able to like tell him off in that bar, which again was a very triumphant moment.
Yeah, 100%. And I also really liked how, not quickly, but how, I can't remember the father's name.
Me neither. Yeah, but it's Burns something.
Yeah, his last name, Mr. Byrne. Yeah.
Mr. Burns. Yeah.
But he was like, after a while, he was like, oh yeah, my son is a piece of shit, and like did do all of this, and kind of changed his tune, which was also refreshing. But yeah, that maybe is like a little bit of a plot hole, and maybe not because of misogyny, but it's like if somebody like smashes your windshield at your party where you're getting engaged to someone, like people may want to think like, oh, maybe he did something wrong and he's a piece of shit. Like,
yeah. Because like I feel like when you see like that done, like when you see that kind of thing done in like a movie, you're like, yeah, get him, blah blah blah. But then in this book, you kind of like see the consequences of it.
Yeah.
But then it's like, well, okay. Like why didn't what was the investigation into this? Like someone obviously was triggered to do this. Like what's the deeper thing? And obviously that never got investigated.
Yeah,
because like still the king of the, you know, prince of the town. And
yes, because otherwise they would be like, oh, he has been harassing this person for like a decade or whatever it was.
Yeah,
that was another thing I didn't quite get. How old were they? Because they started dating in secret in high school.
Yeah. And I thought that they were like mid-20s.
Yeah, okay.
That's
so
kind of what I grasped. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like 10 years of abuse and no one really looked into it.
Yeah, and like his dad, again, like, and his dad isn't like, you're right. Like it took 10 years, like, you know.
Yeah.
It was weird. But then again, like at the same time, like this family does own the town. Like Daniel is Evan's boss, you know, so that puts him in like a very precarious situation. Obviously there's a point where he punches Daniel in the face. So much fun. So much fun.
Yeah. Yes. Loved that. For me, it was like a little like, I don't know. Sometimes I don't think I'm a cinnamon roll romance reader per se. But,
yeah.
But yeah, it was fun.
Totally a lot of fun. So let's talk about their HEA, their happily ever after. The epilogue cuts to 5 years later. They're cute as hell, quirky as hell. She's pregnant. And like there's just a really nice sex scene. I thought that was the hottest sex scene in the book.
Yeah, I did too. That's so funny. Yeah. So they're like, she's hornier than ever in her pregnancy, but they like allude to having like a really great sex life in the past 5 years. And yeah, love a good epilogue.
Yeah, it was great.
Or prologue, like,
epilogue. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Because like I thought it was great because it was like I thought this epilogue like was 5 years from now, and yet they still like, okay, it's like, oh, they still have the same chemistry, you know, like they still talk to each other in the same way, you know, like nothing is like, which I assume that's probably a lot of relationships, but like I just like really felt it in this way more than
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it seemed like it was a nice glimpse into their life, and it seemed like they still are in those roles of Evan being a really like giving, not that Ruth's not giving, but like a really kind, supportive partner. And yeah.
like a stable influence, I guess. Is that the right term? I have no idea.
Yeah, I would say.
Cool. Okay, so I want to ask for your final thoughts on a rating. So with the rating, so Ruth's apartment, Ruth is a comic book writer. She loves comic books. Her apartment is filled with stacks and stacks of comic books. So you're going to rate on how many stacks of comic books. 1 out of 5 stacks of comic books means you didn't like it. 5 out of 5 stacks of comic books means you loved it. So there you go. Thoughts and rating.
I love that. I know it was also great visuals of like their apartments and stuff that I really liked. I honestly give it like a 4 out of 5 comic book stacks. It was super well paced, really easy read, great character development. Wasn't the typical story, and really grounded. And maybe just because I've been reading a lot of fantasy and paranormal and stuff like that it seems just extremely grounded in real life.
Yes. Yeah.
That was really nice. It was relatable and yeah, like you're just like, oh, I could see myself either in these characters or my friends or family or whatever in these characters. And it was a good mix of banter, flirty banter, and good sex.
Agreed. Yeah. I give it 5 out of 5 stacks of comics. Mainly for the banter. I thought that like the sex was, it was hot and great, but like for me it was like the rest of the book and not the sex. I was like way more fascinated by, and I saw myself in her like we said, and I just love the blunt way that they talk to each other. It was like I could read more conversations and read less sex, which is very rare.
So rare.
As a human being that is myself.
Yes.
So yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why I think it'd be such a good movie.
Yes.
Because the dialogue was really good.
It was great. Yeah, I definitely see it. Like, or if this is like, have you seen Virgin River on Netflix? Like, like I feel like this could be like a good version of
yeah, like a Hallmark-ish video
with like fun, like realistic characters, good dialogue, a little raunchy, yeah.
It is kind of Hallmark-esque with like the casseroles and the small town and the the one business that holds all the power in the town.
Yeah, and they all know each other. There's one bar, there's one blah blah blah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very, very Hallmark, but in like a 2022 contemporary way.
Yeah, it's like I want to see a Hallmark show with the word and the action fuck. You know what I mean? Like
totally.
I want a Hallmark show with fucking.
Yes, agreed.
Well, Tori, thank you so much for being a guest. Can you tell us where we can find you and your podcast?
Yes, you can listen to Ready to Be Petty on all podcast platforms, and my social handle is @RTBP Podcast.
Cool. Well, thank you again.
Thanks for having me.
Too Stupid to Live is part of the Frolic Podcast Network. For more podcasts you'll love, visit frolic.media/podcasts. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great rest of your day.